Okay, students, we're going to pick up with page 570, example 4. And in this, now, so far you've learned how to add polynomials, and so now you're going to learn how to subtract polynomials in this example. So it says, find the difference, write the answer in standard form. So in A, this is what you have. You have this whole polynomial, negative 2x cubed plus 5x squared minus 4x plus 8 minus this whole polynomial, and hopefully I can get it to fit in here. It's a minus 2x cubed, and now my tablet is misbehaving. 3x, okay, hopefully it'll get its act back together. Minus 4, okay. All right, so what we're going to do is when we look at this minus sign, what we're really saying is remember what subtraction is. Subtracting is adding the opposite, right? So in essence, what we're going to have to do is we have to multiply negative 1 to every single term in here. We're distributing the negative, in other words, over the parentheses. So we're going to rewrite this. We can drop the parentheses here because there's a plus sign in here. That's like saying multiplying everything by 1. So I can just drop the parentheses on the first polynomial. 2x cubed plus 5x squared minus 4x plus 8. But now I'm going to multiply all of these by negative 1 and write it down, what I have here. So I get a negative 1 times a negative 2x cubed. That's going to give me a plus, right? 2x cubed. Negative 1 times negative 3x, well, that's plus 3x. I'm adding the opposite, right, when I'm subtracting. That's like multiplying them by negative 1 and then adding them. Okay, and then negative times this negative 4, and what am I going to get? I'm going to get a positive 4. Okay, now I'm back to doing an addition problem of polynomials, just like I did before. So the only difference here is when I'm subtracting, I'm subtracting every single term here that's inside the parentheses from these terms here. That's why it's important for me to distribute the negatives here before I drop the parentheses and then turn this into an addition problem. All right, so now I'm going to collect like terms. So I've got a negative 2x cubed plus a positive 2x cubed. Well, guess what? Those cancel each other out, right? That's like 0x cubed, and that's 0. Okay, so now I'm going to look for the squared term. So here's a 5x squared. Do I have any other square terms? No. So I'm just going to write that down. 5x squared plus nothing is 5x squared. And now I'm going to look at my x term. So I get a minus 4x plus a 3x. That's minus x. So we've dealt with those, crossing those out. And then 8 plus 4, well, that's 12. So the answer should be 5x squared minus x plus 12. Oh, and I see what they're doing. They're doing this vertically and then horizontally, and I've got this kind of turned around. So I'll do it vertical for the for B on this. All right, so this is how you would do it horizontally, and I am turning this around slightly from what the example's doing, but I don't tend to do these vertically in general. I think that's why I'm doing it that way. But the book, of course, wants you to know more than one format. All right, so let's do B, and we'll do that one vertically. Okay, so it's pretty much the same thing as as what we were doing, except we're still gonna distribute that negative through, but then you're just gonna line everything up vertically and add like terms. All right, so this polynomial minus this whole other polynomial. So 2x squared minus x minus 4. All right, so they're saying, okay, if you're going to do this, you're going to say this, 3x squared minus 5x plus 3. Okay, we're going to distribute this negative through here and then line these up underneath here and then add like terms. So what's a negative 1 times 2x squared? Well, that's a negative 2x squared. Negative 1 times negative x, well, that's plus x. Negative 1 times negative 4, well, that's a plus 4. Okay, and so now you're just going to combine like terms just like you did before. You distribute the negative all the way through that second polynomial and then add. Okay, so 3x squared minus 2x squared, well, that's 1x squared, right? Just x squared. minus 5x plus x, well, that's going to be a minus 4x. And then 3 plus 4 is 7. And hopefully that's correct. Yes, it is. Yay. All right. So that's example 4. So the bottom line is it's a lot like addition, but when you subtract a whole polynomial, that's like having to distribute a negative over the parentheses before you start actually combining the like terms. All right, so now let's take a look at example 5. It says you're installing a swimming pool. I guess this is the example they were talking about in the beginning. And so we're installing a pool. It looks kind of like this dimension. Here's our pool. It says write a model for the area of the walkway. All right, so they're telling me that this dimension of my pool is 3x. I don't know exactly what x is, but I know that that dimension is 3 times as long as this dimension, okay? So we have a pool that has, like, if this x is equal to 5, then this is going to be 15, right? So it's 3 times longer. Okay, and then we have a walkway all the way around the pool. Okay, it's a lot more even in the book than this. Okay, and they're telling me that this dimension is x plus 6, and this dimension is 6. Okay, they said write a model for the area of the walkway. All right, so let's think about this. What is the total area of this whole thing with the pool and the walkway together, right? It would be this dimension, right, times this dimension. So if we found the area of the whole thing and then subtracted out the area of the pool, we'd have the area of the walkway, right? So the walkway is going to equal, the total area of walkway and pool, right? Total area minus the area of the pool. All right, well, what's the total area? Well, I'm going to multiply this times this, right? 6x times x plus 6. And I'm going to subtract the area of the pool. So what's that? That's going to be 3x times x, right? That's 3x times x. So let's simplify this a little bit more, and then we're going to do our subtraction. So what's 6x times x? Well, that's 6x squared, and then 6x times 6, that's plus 36x. And then I'm going to multiply these x's, right? And I'm going to end up with minus 3x squared. Is that correct? All right, now let's simplify. So I've got 6x squared minus 3x squared. So what is that? That's 3x squared. And then I bring down the plus 36, and there it is. So the area of the walkway is going to be equal to that area, and I'll say walkway with the W there for the walkway. All right, so do the checkpoint. Press pause right now and do the checkpoint. I'm going to continue on doing the checkpoint in the assumption that you'll press play and come back. If you have not done it yet, press play now and come back. All right, so checkpoint number 11 is this, 11. I have 2x squared plus 3x minus 5 minus 2x plus 8 plus x squared. Okay. All right. So the way that I like to do it, I just keep things horizontal. I just think it's easier, but okay. So I'm going to distribute the negative over these terms. So negative 1 times 2x, well, that's minus 2x. Negative 1 times 8, well, that's minus 8. Negative 1 times x squared, that's minus x squared. All right, now I'm going to combine like terms, and I'm going to do it in the standard form, so it's going to be descending degree. So I'm going to start with my highest degree terms, which are the x squared terms. So I have 2x squared minus x squared, right? So what is that? Well, that's x squared. And then I have 3x minus 2x. Well, that's just 1x. Okay, so I took care of those. And then I'm left with negative 5 minus 8 That's minus 13. Okay, now my dog is going to misbehave. I might just put him out here. All right, so 12. Let me see if I can hurry up and do this. 4x cubed plus 4x squared minus x minus 2 minus 3x cubed minus 2x squared plus 1. Okay, so I am going to get 4x cubed plus 4x squared minus x minus 2. And now I'm going to distribute my negative 1. So I get a negative 3x cubed. Negative 1 times negative 2x squared, that's going to be plus 2x squared. Negative 1 times 1, that's going to be a minus 1. Okay, so now let's combine like terms. So I do this, 4x cubed minus 3x cubed, so that's x cubed. All right, 4x squared plus 2x squared, that's going to give me a 6x squared. Negative x, I don't have any other x terms, so I just bring that down. And then I have negative 2 minus 1, I'm going to get a minus 3. And I'm hoping I got that right. X cubed, yep, that is correct. All right, that brings us to the end of 10.1. Good job.